G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners. Welcome to Barkarati, the Sailing Podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week. We get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. First off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
BP, wake up.
Two idiot mates. I mean, do you realise how, I don't want to use the word famous, but how well known Two Idiot Mates has become? At this function last night, which I'll talk about a bit later on, it's like, how's your two idiot mates going?
Yeah, it's all right. I love it. It's good Aussie saying, you know.
It is.
Yeah, and I'd like to. I can just see the President of the United States one day just going, here's such and such and such and such, and my two idiot mates. You know, like it'd be pretty good. Let's bring that.
It said it is true. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. All right, I'll bring in the other bloke.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Young Nicholas Bice.
I've got a couple of apologies, but before I make those, are you wearing pants, BP?
No. No, I'm in bed.
Because, well, you're in the United Kingdom. Stand by. So, Jordan, your two idiot mates are doing this recording in their jocks.
Oh, I love it. I'm not taking my pants off just to keep you two happy. And because BP's in the UK, I think pants is your jocks as well.
Want to be part of the gang or not?
No, I'm cool.
Come on.
You're the two idiot.
Right. Do you want to hang out with the cool kids or not?
No, I don't belong.
All right, couple of apologies, Ben.
Okay.
First of all, I don't have my recording kit with me, so I'm just doing over the computer due to a bit of a travel mishap and lost my luggage. I'll talk about that in a sec. The other one, last week, I said I was a bit underwhelmed with the America's Cup boats coming out and what we saw. I take that back.
There we go.
Wholeheartedly take that back. Now we've seen them in the daylight. Oh, my God.
Yeah, there you go.
Unbelievable machines are we dealing with.
Yeah.
They're
cool, huh?
Phenomenal. We'll chat about it in hot time, but super cool time for yachting. Yeah. Super cool to see what's happening.
It's just all happening, isn't it? Yeah. There's a lot going on.
The good thing is we're allowed to make mistakes when you talk as much as we're doing, you're allowed to make mistakes. So don't be feeling bad about yourself.
That was a massive one.
We'll let you off.
Yeah. So travel. Here we go. The joys of international travel, gent. So I spent the week last week with my family in Sydney, bit of touring around, went and did all the stuff that you're meant to do, looked at opera houses and Bondi to Bronte Walk and all that sort of stuff. And I was departing on Friday evening via Dubai to Europe, to Palma. Yes. And then, of course, what do we see happen last week? The floods in Dubai.
Unbelievable.
2 years of rain falls in one big rain shower. Everything completely flooded. So as of 7 a.m. Friday morning, my flight's cancelled. In the meantime, we need to get rush a part from New Zealand up to La Ciotta, where I'm currently sitting. And it's actually where it all started for me here in La Ciotta, to get a part. And I've got no flight. And someone's flown from NZ to meet with me to hand this particular part over. Wow. By 10 a.m., next thing you know, I'm booked on a flight that afternoon, flying into Europe via Singapore. Delivered the part successfully.
Oh, it was in your carry-on luggage, was it?
But in the meantime, lost the rest of my luggage.
Jeez. Lucky you had it. Lucky you had it in the carry-on, eh?
Currently 8 a.m. I've got a flight at 1 p.m. today to Palma.
Mm.
So straight after this call, I'm getting back to the airport to try and locate my luggage. Otherwise, I'll just have to go sailing next week in Palma on a bunch of different boats and just get different crew kit for every single day.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
that's the way.
Hanging out in my jocks.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say in your jocks, go sailing in your jocks.
I've got my uniform on already.
And you're going out, kid, as well.
What is it? It's only day 3, so you've got the front to back to front, inside out. Now you've got to go inside out, back to front.
Oh.
So last night at dinner, we were down at the boat yesterday, and here I am in my flying pants, my flying shirt, flying jacket. Then I go to dinner. Here I am in my flying pants, my flying shirt, my flying jacket. Oh, you might have recognised me before.
Yeah.
Guess what I'm wearing today? Flying pants, flying shirt, flying jacket.
When you travel,
train,
it's funny how often when one thing goes wrong, a lot of other things go wrong. Like if you have, that you always lose your luggage on the trips where all the stuff's going crazy. So it's.
Then on top of that, I bunged my knee up, and then I was sitting in the bloody, couldn't recline my chair, and got my knees around my ears, and hardly walk now. Oh, it's going well. Life's good.
Yeah, life's good.
So all the youngsters out there trying to make it as a pro sailor, this is your future.
But I'll tell you what, back in La Ciotta, which is a bit of a hub for quite a bit of marine activity, it's actually, like I said, where it all started for me back in the day, building the Amos sports boats. So nice to be back in town.
Nice to be back in town. Well, I was with having a quiet evening last night with a pilot, an A350 pilot, who was talking about, who is sort of had got a little bit of a dabble in the industry, in the professional sailing industry as well. So he was saying that a lot of the people that are in this industry, you touched on it a second ago about flying, Jay. He said a lot of people in this industry actually spend more time in the plane than he does, and he's a pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's true. You think about it.
Yeah.
God damn, we spend some time sitting down in that cramped little seat.
Yeah.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. That's why sailing's increasingly becoming a small man sport. Cool. Small person. Thank you.
That's your theory.
Can't
Small
fit the
person
planes.
sport.
All right, let's get our guest in.
Yeah.
We're very chuffed to have this guest because it will spark a lot of conversation across the world. He's a great man, a lot of fun to hang out with.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, definitely a legend. He's done pretty well in the Hobart, like 8 line honours. He's been touched. He keeps popping up on the hundreds and getting the line honours, although not this year. Won it overall on the handicap. So he's on the Comanche program these days. But he's best known in the Etchells World, 20-odd years sailing Etchells. He's won 5 Australian champs. He came 3rd at the Worlds once. He came 2nd at the Worlds 3 times. And with his team of Richie, Allanson and James Mayo, has just won the Worlds. So welcome to Bar Karate, Mr. Graeme Taylor. GT, welcome to the show, mate.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're fired up. Fired up. You boys did an amazing thing, and the level of determination and focus that you took on was pretty amazing. More than evidenced by the photo of you 3 together after the win. All shaved your heads, boys. You went, the full aerodynamic program.
Yeah.
It's not like there was a lot to shave off.
Yeah, shaved through old age and it fell out.
The hat was just rubbing there.
I know mine was sort of going that way, so I had to shave it about 20 years ago.
That's a good one, Jordan. Well done.
Yeah,
I've actually worked it out. So GT's a normal size human being, right?
Yep.
But his head's normal size, unlike yourself, Jordan. Yours is just massive. You can't wear a hat. GT's just been wearing hats, just been slowly rubbing it away. That's why you got so much hair, Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Spencer.
Mate, no, we have to say, you've put a lot of effort, not just your whole team, but, for you personally, I think it would have been a pretty special day for you particularly. You know, like the Etchell class has been part of your blood for quite a while, and to win the world champs in that class is everything. How did it feel, mate, going into that, coming across that line maybe right at the end there?
Oh, look, it was pretty cool. You know, like you say, I've been sailing the boats a long time, 25 years this year. And I did my first Etchells Worlds back in 2000 with a guy called Peter Gillen and Grant Warrington back in Sydney. And I think James Mayo actually did that regatta won the regatta back in 2000, which is with Dog and Cameron Miles. So, you know, and they were coming off the back of an Olympic campaign. And, you know, for me, I was watching excellence there. And when they won that, and, you know, for me to finally get there after, you know, 25 years of sailing the class and sailing with some great people, from Mothy Jarvin to, Grant Simmer to Tom Slingsby, and I've had some ripper people to sail with, and, had some awesome results, but never been able to quite get there. So to win this one was pretty sweet. And as you guys know, it's never easy to win a regatta, and it's certainly never easy to win a world championship. So yeah, it was a very special moment, and fantastic.
So all those different combinations of crew that you've had over the years. Obviously, in years gone past, James has been there and Richie as well. Now, is it kind of just the icing on the cake? It all gelled at the right time?
Well, look, to be honest, sailing with Richie and James has always gelled pretty well. We did our first regatta together back in 2016, and basically we're all coming from different parts of the planet. I think Richie was overseas. We got on the boat. We got, it was in Melbourne, national titles. We got on the boat on the afternoon before the regatta, never sailed together before, and went out for a quick sail. And the next day we're sort of sailing out to the start line, talking about how, we're going to communicate at the start and this, that, and the other. Anyway, we went on to win that first regatta, which was my first national titles win, actually, in with those two guys. And, it was kind of like from there, we really haven't had too many bad events. And it's kind of unique because I've sailed with, some really amazing sailors like Tom and Grant Simmer, and, that are tactically brilliant. And I guess none of us are at their, I guess, a level in terms of brilliance, but we sort of come together and sort of nut it out between us. So, it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. I mean, let's face it, three pretty fantastic individuals on the water, bringing it together, having been along. It's a pretty good lesson. The more time on the water you spend, although you did win that first regatta together, but just gels and goes good. And in Perth, did you have a sense of this is us coming together? Was there just that extra little click, or you just knew if you did the good things right, you're going to get there?
We got back in the boat sort of this time last year, and we were a bit behind the 8 ball to start with, but we had a pretty good winter. We won up at Mooloolaba, we won at Gold Coast. We lost at Coffs Harbour, and then we were sort of doing a bit of sailing out in Sydney, and we were sort of okay. We weren't perfect, and then we got to the Nationals after doing the Hobart and Comanche and having a break, and we were probably a little bit underdone going to the Nationals, but we won the Nationals. We then went on to win every regatta that we did for the summer. So we won the Nationals, we won the Goblets, we won the WA States, then we won the pre-Worlds. So going into the Worlds, there was that whole thing of going, holy hell, we've won everything this year.
Did not fuck it up.
Fuck it up, and that was a real concern. And then, I was in the bar at the Fremantle Sailing Club, and Skip Listman came up to me and he said, GT, I won the pre-Worlds back in 2006 here, and I came 10th or something in the Worlds. He goes, no, it's the pre-Worlds and we're in the Worlds. And I said, oh, thanks for that, Skip.
Yeah, thanks, Skip. Thanks for the advice, mate.
It went into the back of my head, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I've got that. And they're the sort of, that was probably one of the, it would have been horrific to not win after the summer that we'd have. So I thought, well, I'm not going to let Skip be right. And I had great pleasure in telling him afterwards that it was possible to win.
Yeah.
Did you talk about that going into the regatta? Did you talk about the pressure that was going to be on you? Obviously, you would have had a little bit of a bullseye on your back because you were in form, and that's what happens. Everyone knows that you're out there. Did you have a talk about that before the start of the regatta?
Yeah, we sort of, there's some really smart outfits in the Etchells class, that turn up with everything they need to do, what it takes to win the regatta. So we probably stayed on, we felt like we were in a good position, so we probably sort of avoided sailing with those guys a little bit prior to the regatta. And, in terms of pressure, hey, we all deal with that differently, I guess. James and Richie are quite routine orientated, which I'm probably not as much, but we sort of did speak. We had sessions with a sports psychologist, which was sort of brought out some things. So I think we all deal with pressure differently, and it's certainly something that's part of the game, especially now that there's 9 races in the World Championship, and they go on over a course of a week in varied weather conditions. So you have to keep yourself sort of together for that whole period of time.
Yeah, we obviously sailed against you a fair bit and watched it all happen over the past couple of years. James Mayo's an interesting one. He's so humble and it's unassuming, and you don't. He often says, "Oh, I just sit in the middle and do what I'm told." But there's no way. There is no way that he does that.
Well, Richie's a pretty hard taskmaster. Yeah, no. Look, James brings a lot to the table. He's obviously, a brilliant sailor in his own right, and he's very good at sort of putting the whole package together. He fills in the gaps. He's very good at picking out where there's a gap and filling the gap.
Yeah.
And that obviously just adds so much to a team like this when when it takes so much to actually win.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm just looking at your results here, not to be sneezed at, just quietly. 5, 11, 1, 6, 1, 8, 14, which was the drop, 1 and 7. I guess Andy Beadsworth, he was quite strong in the back half of the regatta. It looked as though you had a few pretty close on those in the back end of the regatta with those guys. Were they getting a bit quicker, or they just kind of how that?
Well, I guess we weren't really in a threatened position by Andy. It was more the GBR boat. I think Graham Villas or So
no dramas.
In the last race, Andy couldn't get to us, so it was only that one boat that could beat us. So he sort of wasn't on the radar there, and he was obviously coming good in the second half of the regatta. They obviously had some mojo. And look, probably the best race for us was that second last race where there was very few nice sea breeze days during the regatta there, and that was just a beautiful sea breeze race, and it was a full, birded out to the left corner, and there was, Andy was there and Laurie Smith, and I think Billy was in there. It was just one of those nice races, Cool. He certainly was going really well, and he's a legendary sailor in his own, he's in his own right, and having Ben Lamb there as well, they just got better and better.
Ben Lamb, the well-known US sailor, Ben Lamb. One of the things about Richie is the diligence on the whole rig setup and, finding the efficiencies in a boat, and that resulted in the 2019 World Champs. I'm interested, having sailed the class for 25 years, the things that have changed, the way you would have sailed the boat 25 years ago versus the way the boats look and sail now. Is there anything that really sort of jumps out where you think that's one of the big changes? Obviously, I've got my own ideas, but
I think, probably the big change was made in 2019, and I think you guys spoke to Richie and Big Fella, or maybe Richie, about that back then. But when we went and after the 2018 Worlds, where we both had absolute shockers, we went and built those two boats and went to Texas. With the focus of being first and second, which is what we achieved. They were first, we were second, and but that, obviously through that course of that, we ended up with the, different sort of setup with the inboard sheeting and, sheeting a lot harder and all the rest of it. So really nothing too much has changed for us from there. It's just a slight progression. Richie is obviously an absolute, I say to Richie, he's got a doctorate in
doctorate in
just a doctorate in yachting, and I think if you do 20,000 hours of the same thing, you get considered that you're a doctor, and I call him doctor.
I think that's a good one. That'll stick. That'll stick.
Yeah, and look, he's a toiler. He loves things to be perfect, and he just toils and toils and toils, and he built lots of different sails for us, and we got to the point where he doesn't even tell me what it is or what he's done with it. Basically, I have to put it up blindfold, and I have to go A, B, or C. It's a little bit like when you go and get your eye test, and they go, is A, B, or C? And I'm like, I think C. So I couldn't even tell you what sails we actually used. I just got to choose out of A, B, or C.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my difference is. Now, stand by for this.
Okay.
I've been known.
They've taken the esky out.
Been known to take the piss out of the whole Mold 11 thing, right? And that pure for entertainment purposes. And I've been vocal on that and apologise to anyone I have offended. Reality is, I remember Kingy back in the day when they won the Worlds on Barrett. They put it down. They went sailing. They took a coach out with them, believe it or not, back in the day. Now you're talking about sports psychology, time on the water, all those different regattas you've done, sailing against the best in the world. Hey, that's just, of course, the advancement in rig setup, sails, sheeting, all that sort of stuff is good. But just time on the water, holy shit. That's it right there, you're right.
Well, certainly, the more comfortable you get in the boat, the easier it is. And when especially when we did a lot of these races in this fluky sort of easily, obviously big shifts, but big pressure changes up and down. So the quicker you can, the more automatic you are in the boat, it just makes a huge difference. And then, in terms of coaching, we had what I would consider the best coach in the world in Ian Murray, and he doesn't say much, but he's a fellow that doesn't need to say much when he talks. You listen, and he just hits the mark every time. And what he added in terms of...
Can you give us a little bit of an insight into a little bit of a coaching debrief after the race? He's come in and you've, let's say you've had a bit of a tough one. What does he do? We all know him as the quite assuming bloke.
He goes, "What did you do that for?" Yeah, no, he's quite pragmatic, I guess, in how he understands that it's easy to make an error in this racing or any racing, but his observations of how to fix it are always, right on point. I think that it's not ever a big change that you need to make. It's just, you know what to do, just do it, in a sense. But, he just brings a lot of just stability, and he's always a voice of reason, and just insanely smart and clever and imposing on other teams in the boatyard. Like to have he's a big fella.
Rob Brown always used to say the status of your campaign is how good your jockey wheel is on your trailer. That was in the 18th. Now it's like the coach walking through the boat part with you. You got the big fella there protecting you.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So what's
He was keen, to help from the get go, and to have him come over and do that, off his own bat is just for me personally was amazing.
Very cool. It's got plenty on his plate too at the moment. I'm a little concerned. I was just thinking about the three personalities on your boat and using a sports psychologist. Did you follow back up with the psychologist to see how they are emotionally? Like,
yeah, I think we've got that next week. I'll have to report back in to see what happens.
I'm just trying to think how those conversations where that person would have come in just going, what have I done?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I haven't done much of it in the past, but certainly it's, hey, every little bit helps along the way, I guess. And we all process stuff in different ways, I guess. And, even when you talk to a sports psychologist, we all interpret what they say differently too.
Yeah, very true.
So it's
what's the biggest thing you took out of it? What's the biggest thing you took out from talking to him?
The biggest thing I took out was probably trusting in your gut, and making decisions based off your gut feel. But when you trying to be cool when you're trusting your gut, not sort of hot. So, how often do you do something, or in a yachting race or anything in your life where you go, oh, I think I need to do this now, and you don't do it, and you look at it and you go, geez, I was right. I should have done what I should have tacked there, or I felt like I needed to do that and I didn't do it. So, I guess that's what I took out of it is when your gut's telling you you've got to do something, do it, and worry about the consequence later.
Yeah, right.
Right. Today could be a whole different day. I'm looking forward to it. Piedmont Bridge Hotel's just down the road. You never know what might happen.
That's not about eating pricing. Trusting your gut. Yeah, I need to put some dim sims in it.
So, obviously, now you've won the Worlds, it takes all that pressure out. And do you think it'll change the way you sail, like an Etchell now? Like, do you think, as you said, you had this amazing year. Like, it was pretty easy doing the coverage for Etchells. You just automatically write you guys down in first. Like it was that sort of year. Now that you got the Worlds, you're all world champs on that boat. You got another world champs coming up in your home turf in 25. Are you going to be able to sail in a different way, do you think, or the pressure is less, or you're just still intense?
I don't think it really changes a lot. It's still, super hard to win. But certainly there is that pressure of having to win. And, am I ever going to win one of these things sort of, is certainly off your back, having had 3 seconds and a third in the prior 5 world championships to that event, you sort of go, with 3 races to go in this event, we were on even points with the GBR guy. And after we had that 14th, and I was just sitting there going, oh my God, not again, not another second. And I think, Judd Smith, like the legendary sailor, had 6 seconds in the Etchells Worlds before he won his first. It's possible to do. And I remember thinking, geez, how could you possibly get 6 seconds and not win one of them? And then I'm like looking down the barrel of 4 going, oh my God, I'm going the same way. So certainly, if you look at nationals as a thing, as soon as one dropped, they sort of came quite easily. But I'm not saying a world championship's ever going to be easy to win, but it certainly takes a little bit of pressure away.
I remember, I think Howie Hamlin in the 5-0s got second 8 times or something. And they have a big Globe trophy for second place, and he never even touched it. He refused to go and touch the bloody thing. He just did. It's just, took
on the first loser attitude, eh?
No, it's just, you're focused on the win, when you're that close. I get it, that it's just so intense. And I guess that's what you're saying, BP, with first loser sort of thing. But, now that pressure's off, so you can just relax, That's what I imagine that's how it'd feel, like in the expectation of winning, that psychology of when you step out there that, you're doing, you've done it better than anyone else. So that pressure goes away in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a cool club to join. I think, an Etchells World champion, there's not, that many of them. And, on the trophy, there's some ripper names and some legends of the sport. So it's super cool to get it in the cabinet, and it certainly does take a lot of pressure off. Does it make it any easier? I don't think so. Just, it's just ticking a box of going, hey, we did it, and we have that now. So that's, that's super cool.
Oh,
I've got an idea, GT.
Oh, I got one too.
Right, similar to the Masters.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Invite all the ex-Masters winners for a dinner. Yeah. I think at the Melbourne Worlds, you should invite all the ex-world champions to a dinner to your restaurant.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolute ripper.
We'll get them down to Captain Jack's at Yoringa, which is got this beautiful dinner down on Western Bay. Maybe we need a IRC regatta there by us.
Oh yeah, definitely we're doing that. But I'm just wondering, what colour jacket would you roll?
No, boss. It's not. I've got it worked out. This is exactly where I was going. So we just saw the Masters, the green jacket, right?
Yeah.
The tradition, the strong US influence in the Etchells fleet. It's the red shorts that you wear.
It's got to be red shorts.
Everyone gets the red shorts. So you got to stand on stage and put a pair of red shorts on. That's what I think it should be.
Fucking that's definitely not happening down at Captain Jack's. I'll give you the drum.
Yeah, good.
Awesome.
So Melbourne Worlds, team starting together.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. We haven't really put any plans in place yet, apart from they're in January, and like turn around from the last Worlds, but also the Sydney Hobart race. So we'll probably be a little bit under the pressure there.
Oh, so why don't you just? Oh, geez, talk about mile 12. The just used 100-footer.
Yeah. I don't think we'd actually get it into Brighton to depth. I don't think it's yellow there. Yeah.
So along with the Etchells GT, 25 years worth, big boats have been a big part of your life throughout that time as well, and even beforehand. That's a journey in itself. That's a whole nother episode. But walk us through that a little bit.
Look, I've been, probably like yourself, guys, I've been really fortunate in to sail with some cool boats, and probably did start out here in Mornington with Grant Warrington and his boats, and we had a cool time there, and we built that 100-footer back in 2003, won the race, which was certainly a different time to it is now, to what it's like now. But back then we had speed limits. We couldn't go above 1.6 IRC.
Yep.
So it made that boat look a little bit sort of different, 2-spreader rig and crazy stuff like that. But we were able to win that race with basically a local sort of project, crewed by locals down here.
Yeah.
Sort of a huge thing. So that was sort of,
Can I give you one of my favourite stories from that particular Hobart, GT? When we're all, there was and children, please don't do this at home, but there was quite a few of us on the burners just coming down the Tassie coast, and good mate Spikey, Pete Dorian, he's like ashed his cigarette, and it's burnt a hole in his brand new Line 7 wet weather pants. so he's like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? Warro's going to kill me. So he takes his pair down, swaps the little name tag out with Barney Walker's, puts Barney's on, and hangs Barney's bag on the rack.
How good. Oh, mate.
And then I think to top it off, at the end of the race, we're cleaning the boat out and there's rubbish going in rubbish bags. There was laundry going in the bags, which were the same as the rubbish bags, and all the wet weather gear got thrown away anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a cool project, wasn't it, Bicey? You know,
Good project. Bloody hell.
And, you know, I remember, you know, it was basically designed completely by Don Jones. And I was sitting there one day with Donnie and I said, Don, when you sell this house, I'm going to buy it. So I ended up buying his house out of the whole deal, which I still live there today, which worked out pretty good. But
yeah.
So obviously that was cool. And then, you know, I was fortunate enough to, after that ended, to sort of join, you know, Rico and the Oaks guys and did quite a few races with them, which has been, you know, fantastic. And then that sort of COVID came along and they didn't want to sail. And then, you know, Squark rang me up and I went and did one with Blackjack and won their one with them, which was, you know, super cool. I really enjoyed that. You know, those guys were, you know, overdue for a win. And they're all in Justin's house talking of ashing cigarettes at Squarky, but that was great. And then, you know, Herman came along with Comanche, and we've spent the last 2 years doing that, which has been, you know, super fun. And the winning Herman and the winning family are great people to sail for. And very, you know, we've probably had more fun on the land than on the water. But, you know, they're very inclusive, and we've had a great couple of years. So.
Hey, what's your count in Hobarts for wins across the line and be up there?
Yeah, I think it's 8 line and 1 handicap and 1 record.
Yeah, I like it.
I'll have to go and do an audit.
Mate, you'll be spewing if someone offers you, well, you should be right this year with the Comanche, but if someone comes along with a 98-footer, it's like, nah, sorry, mate. Only hundreds.
Yeah. Well, you know, you get spoiled. You know, you win the race when you don't have to think about the race being longer than 2 days. It's sort of something. You sort of get a little bit spoiled. I don't want to be out there for more than one night, but
a little overnighter. Exactly.
A little overnighter. Yeah. So
gone are the days of saying, I'm not going south and under a 50-footer, mate. No way.
Yeah. Well, I've only done that once out of my 27 races.
Yeah, I was just wondering about that. Like, it's ridiculous. Although I did see those Class 40s, they did 430 nautical mile yesterday. So you got 40-footers starting to cover quite a bit of distance. They could be doing it in the same sort of time frame. But, yeah. Do you like it?
I mean, you're going back straight, mate.
Yeah, I know. So, you know, when you get on 100, like compared to the, you know, your Etchell sailing, right? Like when you get on 100, like what are you on the Comanche, trimming Traveller or something? Is that right?
I'll do a bit of everything, you know, like do a fair bit of driving and, you know, sit in wherever I'm needed, basically.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, a boat like Comanche is the ultimate bogan boat, you know. It's, you get a bit of wind. It's great.
Bogan boat. So you got the elbow on the lifeline, one hand on the wheel.
Yeah, it's
back of the wind, shoulder.
Yeah, I guess it's the long way around the drag curve. You know, you end up once you get the hull up out of the water, it goes like you know, a bat out of hell. It's great fun when you start doing that. But it's certainly not the easiest boat to sail. In terms of you know, you have to have a lot of sail area up, and you have to be pushing it the whole time to make it to go. And you know, some of those other boats like, you know, your Oatses and your Blackjacks are pretty easily driven, so they sort of are always going pretty nice. But this thing, once it gets going, you know, you can really put some miles down quick. But you spend a fair bit of time just sort of trying to survive until you get that moment.
It's interesting because, you know, when you're obviously on a 100-footer, there's a lot of bodies roaming around, and you know, communication must be amazing. But then I just was thinking that, and then I suddenly realised that Bice has just got off a boat with 48 other blokes, and you know, it'd be like sailing a single-hander coming back onto the Comanche if for bias, like I wonder if you could actually go and do a little bit of sort of training on the, a 200 footer, and then everything will seem easy on the 100.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think they're pretty well set up. Like a boat like Comanche now is pretty well thought out. So sail changes have got a lot easier than probably what they were when it was launched. With everything furling. So.
Not to mention everything on pedestals originally. That boat.
On pedestals.
Holy shit.
More of the thing is just it's just more of a management thing in terms of the engineer in the boat's a super important role. Like if you blow a hydraulic line or you lose the engine, that becomes as big a problem as not having the 48 people.
Yeah.
Back on communication, GT. How'd you go with our good mate Nettie and Patan?
Well, you've got two guys there who are quite different. We've got one guy who's probably the most relaxed guy you're ever going to meet, and one guy that is saying something I still can't figure out what he's saying. But I love him both, and had an absolute ball sailing with both of them. And Pablo's very, very good at his craft and super relaxed and super cool. So and so is Nettie. So but I still can't figure out what Nettie said. I have to ask Pablo for a breakdown of what he just said.
We have to say we're sorry because we taught him English in the shed in Telefonica, and every second word was fuck. So that's how it was.
Yeah.
Explains the Telefonica program. I do have to ask, while we're talking about the Comanche, we've got to go back to the end of the Hobart where we're all watching on TV. I just wonder, and speaking of swear words that we just were going through, I mean, what was the communication like on board in that last few hundred metres?
I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up.
Sorry, bud.
Probably the worst bit of the summer, I guess, and it's one of those things. It was probably when the gods just don't want you to win, and it was a perfect storm against us, and in terms of what happened, and you sort of play it over in your head a million times how you would have done it differently if you had another go at it. The communication was pretty calm. It was sort of it was a tense moment, but everyone was sort of focused on the job, and at the end of the day, that Comanche is a super difficult boat to sail in those conditions.
I was going to say, my question was going to be to you just then. I mean, what could you have done different? You really couldn't have done much. I mean, you could probably have done a couple of drives in there, but you stopped the boat.
Well, if the diamond saw underwater doesn't work to cut about 3 metres out of the centre line.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's lots of things, like it's a more challenging boat to jibe than the Law Connect was in those conditions because of the keel, the way the keel works with the pin angle and stuff like that, and it's obviously got more wetted surface when it's upright. You can't tip it over. You can't put enough weight on the bow. And it's like sailing a brick at that point, and it was challenging, and I guess the worst part of it was that the winning family and Herman just put so much into the whole campaign, and to lose
45% away from it,
devastating, and it was probably something that gave a lot of fire to make sure we didn't lose the Etchells Worlds.
Yeah. I was just going to say, on Law Connect, they talk about return on investment, and that's how that sort of whole program's put together. For Herman and Woody, I would have thought that the amount of coverage that they would have got from that TV, everyone zooming in on that, would have paid. You couldn't pay for that amount of TV time. That would have been fantastic. So there's wins and losses.
Yeah,
well, hopefully they sold a few more fridges and whatever.
18,000 and 18,360 microwaves walked out the door.
Hopefully that softens the blow.
So.
It didn't help my ego, I can tell you.
You didn't get a free fridge at the end. I'm interested with the Etchell, though. I just wanted to ask, why Magpie?
Oh, that's an interesting one. So, my first Etchell that I bought was built by John Bertrand, and he was sailing with Billy Brown and Ernie Lawrence. And Bertrand's a Magpie fan.
Collingwood.
The other two were Saints, so the boat was called Two Saints and a Magpie.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that.
there you go.
It was owned by Chris Hampton, and the Two Saints had gone off. It was called Magpie, so it came with the name Magpie, and I kind of liked it, so I didn't change it. I'm not very good at picking names. I'm not very creative.
Well, that's obvious.
Where Magpie came from. We just keep on with it, and then Squawk was always dirty at me because we'd been over in Perth in 2006 and done the Worlds there in Seabreeze every day, and all the older boats, the 9 boats with the heavier keels, were pretty competitive over there. So, we both said, geez, we need to get that 947. And I think he went to America sailing or something, and I'd bought it before he got back. So he never spoke to me for a couple of years about, stole the boat or something. Anyway. But I just sold that boat a couple of years ago to Squawk, that 947. Yeah. So he got the Magpie and pulled the mag off, and now that's called Pie.
Pie.
So Pie actually comes from Two Saints and a Magpie, so
it's diminishing.
Yeah.
I wonder
what's next. Yeah. What's next, Jordan Spencer?
IE. That's
example. No.
He pulled the mag off. Imagine if he pulled the pie off and just left it as mag. It'd be a bit wild.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your day-to-day life, GT. You're in the marine industry, kind of
proper
working.
Grown-up job.
Yeah, it's a proper grown-up job, right?
Yeah, proper grown-up job. Yeah, no, we've obviously Hart Marine working with Mel Hart, who built the fine craft for us back in 2003.
Here.
And hey,
actually, reminds me of a story. I've been known to mix a bit of glue at Mel Hart's factory because I think it was part of the 03 campaign, GT, when myself and Spikey and yourself thought it'd be a good idea to go riding motorbikes in the middle of the night.
Oh, yeah.
And then sitting up, having a few lagers deep into the evening, and I thought your wife at her nice little bookshelf next to the couch was something to sit on, but no, it definitely wasn't something to sit on, and just disintegrated. And here I am the next day at Mayo's mixing some glue up, gluing back together your bookshelf for your house.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was. I think was it Partridge trying to start the motorbike at about 4 a.m. in the garage.
Good for the neighbours.
Yeah.
Children don't do this at home.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's a very Cannons thing to do.
Yeah, we haven't built many race yachts in the last few years. I think Limit was actually the last.
Of course.
Out of the factory, but we're pretty heavily into the commercial space. Some police boats, but mainly pilot boats. So we're having a pretty cool pilot boat business with doing 4 to 6 boats a year all over Australia and New Zealand, and we've sent a couple of boats overseas to Dubai. So the business is going super good, and we purchased we had the opportunity to purchase a marina a few years ago, and that has a fair bit of land associated with it, like a lot of land, over in Western Port. So we have 120 berth marina over there. We have 110 boats on the hard stand. We've got 3 travel lifts, 75, 40, 30 ton travel lifts and trailers and boats going everywhere over there. And we're in the process of just going through the planning process for our new factories over there for Hart Marine. So,
oh wow!
So we've sort of gotten a real opportunity, sort of down in this neck of the woods. We've got sort of 50 acres of land, so we've got opportunities to create something good for the marine industry. I guess along the lines of what we see at Queensland with Cooma and the like. There's sort of nothing like that down here. So that's sort of our plan, and it's a long-term plan, as you can imagine. But yeah, that's sort of chipping away on that, and it comes with a lot of moving parts. It's pretty cool.
Manufacturing in Australia is not an easy concept. I mean, is that you find you've sort of worked your way through that, and you're obviously on 5 or 6 boats a year, so you've obviously got it right. It's not easy to balance the cost of labour and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I guess I know it's more expensive to manufacture in Australia, but how much? Why be afraid of it? So the thing is that when I look at a pilot boat, the materials are the materials, no matter where you build it in the world. And generally in life, the materials make up probably half of the actual cost to build something, and the other half might be labour. But if you look at the materials are going to, if you're using the right materials, it's going to cost you the same no matter where and if you're building a boat, if it's got 20,000 man hours in it, well, it's just the difference in the cost of the man hours, and which isn't really, it's not as much as you think in true cost. And by the time you look at building stuff overseas with having to have expats there looking after the cheaper labour and then shipping it out to wherever it's got to go, unless you're actually producing huge volume, like say Grand Banks, it probably doesn't make sense. A lot of the tenders that come out in Australia do have an Australian-made component or requirement, and if you're trying to meet survey standards, that's a whole other thing. Makes manufacturing in Australia possible. So we're passionate about manufacturing in Australia, and we want to keep it here. And I think we need to keep it here. And we all want to support the marine industry, and to be able to do that here is pretty cool.
I think
absolutely. I wish I could for all those reasons. It's just smaller numbers. It's not easy.
Well, I think the Prime Minister just came out and talked about manufacturing in Australia yesterday or the day before, so you're probably well placed due to.
They're looking for handouts, no.
Yeah. I feel we have to talk about one issue, boys. We haven't touched on. Do we want to talk about it?
I don't know. What's the issue?
What, the internet? My internet at the moment, or
the fact that I left my doctorate at work, or
all those things. No, sailing 3 up. That's another element of the Etchell thing that I'm interested in. The 3 up element.
I thought it was going to be worse than that.
Yeah.
So you leave the tough shit to me, Jordan.
I'll do it. I just wanted to have the humour element, like that was it. Obviously, we knew where we were going, but the 3 up element is a big deal, like a lot of, when you go through the numbers at the Worlds, it's been 4 up boats that sort of tend to get to the top of the sheet recently, which, I think is criminal. Decent-sized human beings should still have a chance to go sailing. And to take them out of the Etchells, then really things are getting desperate. So, 3 up, well done.
Yeah, hey, I guess, obviously there's some great boy band teams out there, isn't there, sailing 4 up.
Love it.
Certainly for me, there's at plus of 100 kegs, there's no chance that I'm going to be sailing 3 up unless I sail with a couple of kids. But I certainly don't think it's any disadvantage sailing 3 up, and I think that some of the 4 up teams have been just great teams, and I don't think there's really much in it between 3 up and 4 up. I certainly don't feel any disadvantage.
Yep. Yeah. No, I was just interested. I just wanted to touch on it and see if there was any thought went into that element, and it's just really put the right crew together effectively. Yeah,
look, to be honest, that's the first time it's entered my head. You actually saying it is going, well, does it make a difference? I don't think it does. I think there's bigger stuff going on than 3 or 4 up. So, and hey, nothing in the world's completely perfect, and the fact that the Etchells class has done this and allowed 3 or 4 up crews to meet the weight limit has actually opened the class up to just a whole lot more people, so which is cool as well. So I don't think there's any great advantage. There's probably pros or cons both ways. The wage bill is certainly going to be more expensive, isn't it?
Yeah. That's true.
Depends if that kid's child labour or not.
Yeah. Maybe we should do an audit.
I love it. I guess the other element then is with the Mole 11 crap. Did you have to modify your boat?
No, we didn't modify it. No, we did modify our boat. Hey, all the boats have been modified, and I think Grant Simmer probably did a great job with what they did to appease the whatever they thought was going on there. I think it's probably one of the worst things that's ever happened to the Etchells class over its course of its history, and I don't think it's out of the woods yet with it, and it still has the potential to ruin the class in the future. And I think everyone involved needs to be careful what they wish for going forward.
I agree.
There's the Mold 11 boats are good boats. I think the Mold 12 boats look like they're going to be good boats. The Ontario boats are going pretty good. I think they're all much of a muchness. I've had this, until now, I've had the same results in a Bashford, same results in a Smidmore, same results in a Heritage boat as a Mold 11 boat. So, I don't know what will happen in the future, to be honest. But, I think what we've seen in Australia and what we saw in Sydney, certainly at Christmas time, is more of people, whatever, with modifications that have been made, the fleet feels that it's, made the boats more even. And if that's what the fleet feels, that's a really good thing.
Okay. Do I comment on what I think? What do you think, Bryce?
No. I think to GT's point, be careful what you wish for. Yes, as I said before, I've been taking the piss completely out of this whole saga. But the reality is it's going to fuck the class. Sorry for the language. And which is not going to, there's no winners out of that. I'll give you the drum right now.
I'll come in. One thing I don't want to see, and I really, really can't emphasise this enough, is I would hate to see anyone that disrespects the World Championship that you guys achieved, with no evidence in mind. That, for me as an outsider looking into the actual class, all the development on the rig stuff is what jumped out to me. The difference in the hull's negligible as an outsider looking in. Knowing, there's so many other classes out there where you build boats with intolerances, and everyone knows, all the different fins. Everyone's went from the Classica to the Fantastica or whatever it is, and 5.0s, there was boats built to different shapes to fit with the intolerances. So classes have tolerances for a reason, and there's much more important things. And to me, the thing that gave the success in 2019 was all that rig development and, bringing your forestay up tighter and different sheeting, being able to sheet different. That to me was the ultimate. It was obvious that made a difference. And so I guess the point I want to say is that I would hope that there's nobody devalues your World Championship, because I think that would be a crime. And, for me, a massive respect.
Not to mention getting together at 6:30 in the morning in middle of winter and training 3 times a week. That doesn't make you better.
No. No.
Yeah, I think that, it was a really unfortunate situation, what happened. The boat had been around when this whole saga started. The boat had been around for, a long time, 7-8 years, whatever it was, been doing a lot of regattas and never really, showed up to be any different or any better. And it wasn't until 2019 when, we went to Texas that it created that question mark. And certainly it was not ever on any of our radars until, it blew up into a major storm. I think that, what's happened. The boats have been modified. Whatever that does, who knows? The boats are, I can't tell you. I can tell a huge difference. Like the boat, it's hard to win an Etchells race in any boat, and that hasn't changed. And I don't feel any better in the Model 11 than I did in the Heritage or the Bashford boat. They're all got their slight, differences where you think they're slightly better or worse, and but I think that the key going forward is for the class to put this behind it and move on. There's bigger stuff bigger fish to fry. And if you look at the World Championship that we've just had, there's a lot of Model 11s in the fleet, and they're scattered pretty much throughout the fleet. I had a look at that myself. And I think that what we've seen is that it's not like the first 10 boats are Model 11s and then all the rest are
exactly.
Like they're scattered throughout the fleet, and I don't think that there's a great difference. Robbie Doosan, who's new to the class, would be a mate of yours, probably Bicey from South Australia. He, great bloke. He goes, look, I don't feel any disadvantage at all. I feel like I'm racing you. So, and there's a fresh set of eyes into it. So, look, I think, my only thing is that if it doesn't get voted back in, I think that'll be the end of the class. And that's that, So, at the end of the day, there'll be always people that say that, we won the Worlds in a Model 11 and we're not good enough, and that's, hey, good on them, and let them get up and give it a go. And
that's right. Yeah.
I reckon you just say to them, you know what?
Step up.
Skip shit. I won the red pants. So fuck yourself.
Scooter McGavin.
Scooter McGavin, that's it. It's the Scooter McGavin, the pants of the world champion. The Scooter McGavins. Oh, I love it. Hey, one of the good things, like let's talk positive stuff while we're still on the Etchells, is really positive stuff is in the lead up to the Worlds, there's quite a few events coming up. The Australasian Winter Championships, which are on the 8th of June, the 22nd of June, the 6th of July. That's 3 weekends coming up in Coffs Harbour. So for the offshore people, Coffs Harbour is probably got the best environment in Australia. It's a beautiful place to go. Then you got the Gold Coast Championships. So you have to switch straight back if you're going the Goldies in July. You're going to have to switch into your Comanche mode, full bogan sailing. And then the Mick Hole Regatta, we start in Pittwater, and then Australian champs in Mattung. So going lake sailing out to the east of Melbourne, so in Victoria, and then the world champs 6 to 14 January. Hopefully she's not a slow Hobart for you, so you're not still on the water come 6 January.
That would be a slow Hobart.
Yeah, very slow Hobart.
Yeah, it felt like we weren't going to finish till the 6th of January this year, I can assure you, when we were in the river.
Yeah.
I was going to say, even when we had the finish line in sight.
But if you want to go Etchells sailing, there's plenty on, is what I'm saying. Got a world.
Yeah, and I got to say, it's if you are interested, it's a fantastic fleet to get involved in. It's a great fun bit of sailing.
If you get tired of Etchells, GT, what are you going to, and hundreds, what would you do next?
Look, I haven't really put a lot of thought into that, but I would like to. Hey, my son Digby is 17 now. He's sailing a laser, and I'd love to do something with him at some point. And even I'd love to even do a Hobart with some of the local kids from around Mornington and give them the opportunity that I had when I was young. With Bicey and Spike and those guys to do something, because like kids don't get the opportunities to do this stuff unless we help them get into it. So we've all been lucky in that we managed to sort of navigate our way through. But when you don't live in Sydney and or don't spend a lot of time there, it's hard to get an opportunity, as you guys would know.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that a lot. That would be cool. So you want to see, I think that's probably the hardest part about sailing for Australian sailing and everyone involved in sailing, and about 1 million emails I get a week with people with different ideas, is how we get the kids to keep sailing, that transition period from where, say, your son's age, and then, the next 10, 15 years, and both male and female, obviously. That's where we start losing people and they come back later on in life. But to keep going, it's got to be fun. That's it. That's my rule. It's got to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think that classes like the Etchells need to do more to get more youth involved. And, the problem is, I guess, Etchells sailing can get a bit expensive, but it doesn't need to be. We need more youth teams in the Etchells class. We need more, more things for kids to do rather than sail Olympic classes, because only a fraction of 1% are going to ever get to a level good enough to sail in that. But that doesn't mean they can't be great people in the sport and be involved, longer term. So, I think.
I was just going to say, Blake's your size, decent sized human beings, there's no Olympic class for you, unless you're going to do the IQ 4 now, but there's, anyone above 80 kilos, we've got to find something for them to do. So.
Yeah, 100%. So, and just, I think that's sort of the question of the sport, how we retain the younger people and get them more involved and get them, sort of becoming the next leaders of the sport.
But touching on what you said a second ago, GT, about the the pending decisions with the Mould 11s and all that sort of stuff. This was what was happening a couple of years ago before all this shitstorm started. We had the youth thing going on in Sydney. You remember back then, we had 3 or 4 teams out there every Saturday with us, and that was the start of it. And then it just shit itself because of what happened. And that's the type of thing that can happen when this negativity comes to any class. It just stops everyone wanting to put back in. And James Mayo is a perfect example.
I've got an idea. I've got an idea.
Love it.
Here we go.
Got a proposal, right? Down at your marina, GT. I can see it now. GT Sailing Academy. Got to get a few kind of older type ex-Hobart boats in there, just to give the kids a bit of a crack. Going to be perfect.
Oh, mate, I reckon we get Jordan to talk to the Prime Minister, get some funding.
Absolutely.
And
got him on speed dial.
Put your ringer down on Western Port Bay on the map for youth sailing.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just like old times. We could get the old wild thing and secret men's business back together, GT. We'd look just like old times.
How good. Yeah, I mean, sailing back in the old days had a lot more Corinthian element in it, and I think we're losing that, or we've lost it, and I don't know how you get a bit of that back. I don't know.
Hopefully the double-hander thing, I think that's one thing for offshore stuff. The double-hander element might be one. That was one idea.
It doesn't do much for getting more people involved, double-hander sailing though, does it?
Unless you bring lots of boats,
Yeah, lots of boats, but I think that I don't think double handing's for me.
Oh no, okay, all right.
No,
there was a joke there.
As our good friend who passed away a few weeks ago, he says he doesn't do rope. He always said he didn't do ropes, and I think he had a point.
I love it. All right, we're kind of out of time. Anything else you boys want to bring up before we let this man go?
I just want to really congratulate you all. All three of you deserve what you got. It was great to see and I loved watching it. So well done, mate.
Thanks very much.
Oh, here. Bloody good to see a good mate take out the title. And, I'm looking forward to GT Sailing Cat. I'll send you some notes on all the ideas.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. All right, mate.
Thanks,
Cheers,
boys.
JT.
Cheers, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
Having known GT for the best part of all of my sailing career, we're in the pro side. He's probably the most down to earth and approachable guy, and always having a good time, always having a laugh. I mean, one of the fondest memories I have of GT was I was sitting downstairs in a meeting in Adelaide, believe it or not. I get this phone call, and it's GT. Now, I didn't really know him that well, just from Wild Thing and the Secret Men's Business days. Calls me up, and you could hear it was kind of a foggy, fuzzy call, so he was a long way from somewhere. He was on a sat phone. Anyway, he goes, "Hey, BP." I said, "Yeah, GT, how you going, mate?" He goes, "Mate, were you on that Coke boat in the Hobart?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, I'm out of fuel. I can see him in the distance." I said, "Where are you, mate?" He says, "In the middle of Cook Strait." It's the Coke boat. He's taking Wild Thing, I think, to Europe, and they're out of fuel. And the Coke boat just happens to be going past. He rings me up, and he goes, "Can you get hold of the skipper and get him to give some fuel?" So there's me, like 7 a.m. in a meeting, ringing up the skipper of the boat, and the Coke boat, the Coca-Cola boat, which is an old BT Challenge 67 with like 20 million litres of fuel on board, goes over to Wild Thing and gives them some fuel to get them on their way.
Bit of fuel bunkering.
So, he's that type of guy that, you'll go out of your way to help, but he'll go out of your way to help you as well. So he's a bloody true legend and stoked that he's won the Worlds. I mean, it's just so cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Etchells boys and our little tie-in with Radix, I thought this was interesting, because one of the great joys of sailing Etchells is you got to lose all that weight, right?
If you're the boy band.
Yeah, if you're the boy band, that's right.
Otherwise, you're at the, kind of a normal human.
Yeah, you can be a normal human, but you do need someone like a Sandy Higgins. You need a Sandy Higgins to get you over the line, Jay, if you're a normal human, you see.
Yeah, I recently was lined up to do the midwinters last year, and just 3 of us on board, and there was quite an aggressive weight loss program that we had to employ. So, the reason I mention it is with Radix now, they've just brought out their revolutionary new keto breakfast, which looks fantastic. So if you don't know about keto, it's a type of diet you have. It offers some benefits, but basically one of the things it does really well is it removes a lot of the carbs, and that's a very good way to lose weight. So if you go the keto pathway, you can lose weight, but most people go onto a keto diet for medical reasons, but you can use it if you do want to lose weight. And they've got this fantastic new flavours, but it's a blend of 29% protein, 60% fat, and just 6% net carbs, plus the extra boost of 5% of fibre. So comes in some pretty cool flavours, the old chocolate, banana. It looks like your standard milkshake flavours, at the dairy, at the milk bar.
Love a milkshake.
Yep, we all do. Strawberry, coconut, it's all there. There's a whole bunch of them. What else? Vanilla.
Banana, apple, cinnamon.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
So what you're telling me, Jordan Spencer, is I should have brought some of that kit with me over here.
Yep.
As opposed to the packet of potato chips I just had for breakfast out of the minibar.
I mean, there's not much nutritional value going on in the packet of potato chips there, boys.
Yeah, no. And when you probably want to go the Radix, mate. It's exactly what I do. But anyway, if you are interested in grabbing some, because it looks pretty cool, and if you are on the weight loss program, then jump on board with their fantastic new breakfast. Go to Radix Nutrition on the website. use Barkarati as your discount code and away you go. So Radix Nutrition, enhancing human potential through applied nutrition. Okay.
Love it.
Now,
Well done.
oh, I mean, it's almost like I've done this before. It's it is.
You are a natural. I've got to say.
From memory.
You are a natural. You gel the whole thing together, Jay.
Thanks, mate. I'm catalyst. I'm the hardener.
MFKP.
You're the glue that binds us together, Jordan.
All right.
You're the silicon that sticks.
Yeah. All right, let's move it on.
You're the 3M 5200 of the podcast world.
In the events coming up, boys. Worrell 1000, lads. 50th year, the anniversary for the Worrell 1000. I don't know about you boys, but we've been big fans of this show. I think we've done multiple episodes. Episode 42 with Brett White, episode 186 with Rod Waterhouse.
From memory,
correct. It begins 12th of May, Hollywood Beach in Florida. Hollywood, Florida, not Hollywood, California. So don't go to the West Coast. You're going to the East Coast. Excited, boys? It's a good one. F-18s racing in the open ocean. Should be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
The stories from Rod and from Chris Way and those guys was pretty superb. It's kind of, you don't realise how difficult it would be until you're actually probably trying to do that sort of thing. Navigate on a catamaran, two up doing bloody 20 knots.
Mentally and physically, not to mention the shore break stuff to do.
Oh,
with.
I love that.
Oh, mate. Yeah. So good luck, Warrellers.
Anyway, we'll keep you up to date, but just be aware that is on, and we're fired up ahead of that one. Another event that is on right now, it's just starting as we go to publish this, is here in Parma in France. So that's the last of the Olympic class regattas before the Olympics. It's the last caboose, the final chance. All the different Olympic classes. There's nothing to talk about yet because nothing's really happened. But you're heading to here today.
Negatore, you need to work on your geography, Jordan Spencer.
Oh,
Haier is in Haier in France.
Yep.
Parma.
Oh, you're going to Parma. Sorry.
is in España.
España.
Sorry, for some reason.
Como estas. We had this chat last night again about having talking in Spanish in an Australian accent, and it came up. So.
No, you're going to Parma. Sorry. Anyway, well, let's finish off here. Yeah. So it's all the Olympic classes, all the dinghies and a bunch of others, 90 nations completing. It should be great. Lots of coverage. Just find it. Go to the website, have a look. And another one that I want to mention, then you guys can jump in. Obviously, we've got Parma Vela this week, I think, and then the Super Yacht Cup in Parma, which is
always
June?
A big thing.
June?
Coming up in June, correcto mundo.
Okay.
Yes.
Jump in there, boys, because now that I've got my Spanish.
So, well, speaking of, basically Parma Vela, it's the first, let's call it the first Euro regatta where everyone is, showing their wares of the year. So specifically, e.g. here in La Ciotat, on one of the 100-footers, the Wally Shentos, and who's got ballast this year, who's got new sails this year, who's done some modifications here, who's done modifications there. So it's a bit of I wouldn't say a learning regatta, but it's going to see some
unraveling.
New
It's
stuff.
an unraveling.
It is an unraveling, but it's also this year it's the first of the 52 Super Series regattas, of which will be interesting to watch, especially with a couple of new boats on the racetrack, to see if there hadn't been a new boat built for a number of years yet now. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any changes made. So I'll be keeping a close eye on things and
you will be
reporting live from Palma, Mallorca.
Your fingers on the pulse. I can tell you. You are the pulse.
Cool. So a couple of good events coming up. Beauty. So they're on the income. On letters this week, boys. We've got a couple of good ones. One putting the boot into us, which is cool. I love how BP just laughs at that. That's the Rob Suddy email, I think, from memory. Now, I just got to go and find it. Rob basically said in our coverage of the Newcastle event, we didn't mention Beyond Division 1 because Bossy was just totally focused on himself. Is exactly
100%.
It's kind of
100%.
I did respond to him via email. I don't know if you saw the response. Did you see the response?
Yeah.
I kind of said, look, we're just three idiots having a chat. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't script. We don't do anything. We just sort of have a chat. So we take your point. Well done for getting to the start line.
No, absolutely. No, Rob, my mistake. I've made 2 mistakes now. So today, that was one of them.
One of the good things, though, he said you missed out in Div 2 and 3. And I know you guys are supportive of the average sailor out there having a go and playing in the 4-metre seas with the multi-millionaire boats as well. Not trying to get our name up in lights, as we got absolutely smashed in our little 32-footer and placed nowhere. So he wasn't chasing brand recognition for himself. He just wanted to make sure that all the fleets were covered. So, yep, well listened to there. The other one, I really like this email, boys. It was an email from Archie Massey. Now, Archie had been on the show previously, episode 86, okay, from memory. And Archie writes, you once interviewed me for episode 86, about all things about all things International 14s and what it took to win in them. At the time, I'd not won the Worlds for 5 years. On the back of your interview, the reverse curse kicked in and we've won back-to-back Worlds in Perth 2019 and then Flensburg in 2022, obviously.
Double reverse curse because COVID took that gap in the middle, obviously, as we all remember. In July, we're going for our last tilt at the International 14 Worlds in Garda. I'm worried the reverse curse doesn't last more than 5 years. So leaving nothing to chance. You've got to do a refresher course, Archie.
Please, can you give Harvey and I a shout out on your next show to refresh the reverse curse for our last hurrah? We're selling the boat after Garda and aiming to do the Worrell and other long distance challenges, winging and get back to kids sailing. We'll be on the back of our comeback tour as the 14s are forever after all. Well, that's a great email, hey? Recognising
good email, Arch.
Yeah, recognising
I don't know.
the value of the...
Can we have this sort of willy-nilly action going on where people ring up and ask for a reverse curse?
I don't think we can, no. I don't.
Definitely.
I mean,
just got to send money.
Yeah.
That's easy done.
Well, here we go. Like, this is not something we've discussed.
We'll give it a go. Give it a go.
But we have thought about doing the reverse curse T-shirt, and we wondered if that would dilute the reverse curse. Like if people are thinking they'll buy the reverse curse T-shirt, and of course we'll market it that way. If we're going to sell a T-shirt, we need to not sit in our money out of our bank account. We'll say that it's a guaranteed reverse curse,
guaranteed regatta win right here.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'd be scared that we do
guaranteed
dilate the power
win a
of the
regatta
curse.
with this T-shirt.
Can you imagine? My real concern.
Well, I think we've got to be really careful here, though, because we are putting ourselves on the line of sort of some form of lawish sort of setback, because they're going to think they've won the regatta. They might not even go.
The other thing I'm concerned, boys.
I won the Worlds in 2019. Wasn't even there.
Yeah. The reverse curse is it done? Is it us giving our luck out to the world? And I
think it is.
We're cursing ourselves.
We definitely are. I mean, we're it's just.
Yeah, what have you won lately? I've won fuck all.
Nothing.
Exactly. That's
Quite the opposite.
Everyone out there,
to be honest,
who is blessed with the reverse curse, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're welcome. I love it.
It's hot time with Bice.
All right, boys. Spoke about it at the head of the show, top of the show. The cup boats.
Yeah.
Blown away. The Kiwis have done the classic, of course. Launch the boat, go sailing straight away.
Yeah.
No stuffing around at all. We've seen Red Bull sailing now, seen Lunar Race, all got Sunspars rigs, by the way. Not a coincidence. Well done for those three for getting out the sheds first. Anyway, I truly am flabbergasted. I find myself just looking at these boats on a daily basis.
Yep.
They're just out of this world, aren't they?
What they've done, and to me, the Italians,
yeah,
just the smooth, classic Italian styling.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Ineos, we've just recently seen that. Another one to do a bit of a, let's call it, they actually did a bit of a dawn session when it rolled out the shed. But we now see in daylight. The only one that's, I would say, arguably a little bit different with the whatever that piece is, the skeg or whatever it is between the hull and the what will be the water. It's quite wider compared to the other two boats. But I'd say if you're interested in this stuff, I mentioned it the other week, go check out Tom Morris, Mozzie Sales. He's got a pretty good analysis as these boats come in and out of the show. What is going on. And he speaks way more technical than we could ever imagine to think. So he does a fantastic job at that.
Yeah,
so
he's definitely
that's because
focused
he's
in
smart,
on this.
Vicey.
Yeah.
He's smart, Vicey. Not like us.
No.
Yeah.
I think he's specialised. He's got very specialised. Yeah, we're more generalists. He's a specialist.
We're broad brushes.
Journalists, come on, don't be silly.
Well, I was, as you know, I was with One Britain Ward last week, and obviously we wanted to talk to him about his latest creation, of course, being American Magic, and he said he had to decline to come on the show at this stage, but he's happy to speak to us in a couple of weeks' time when that thing comes out of the shed. But I can tell you, he is damn excited. He says that and whether they like it or not, they all know what they're doing. They all know what sort of intricacies each boat's got, and he said mine's a bit this and a bit that and a bit this, and I think we're going to see something special from American Magic, to be honest.
I wonder who designed theirs via Chat GPT. I think it comes out like Homer Simpson's car.
I've learnt a bit about AI over the last few weeks, boys. I'll have to bring you up to speed on a few things. It'll open your mind up because it's not as smart as people think. But anyway, I'll explain how it works.
But that's coming from you, Jay.
I know. That's right.
Superhuman that you are.
The supercomputer, Jordan Spencer.
This is shit. This AI crap.
Anyway, we look forward to keeping a close eye on the Cup as it evolves. And actually, this is the business end. We've had fun. We've played around with the little blokes. Blah blah blah. Now this is the business end.
The real deal.
Yep.
They look good though, don't they? I mean, you know how much I love the 40s, and now seeing these new boats popping out, I'm just getting pretty. It's a little bit of a little
chubby, little chubs,
a little bit of robot chubby action going on. It's cool. I'm excited.
The Jordan Chub.
Jay Chub.
All right, thanks, boys. Wankers.
Move on.
Falling Awards.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Friend of the show.
We could put this under reverse curse, couldn't we?
Friend of the show, Luke.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Falling Awards took place in Genoa, in Porto Antico, during the week.
Yes.
And just a quick run over everything that happened. The overall award goes to friends of the show, the Wasp class.
Yeah.
So,
which I'll talk about a bit later on as well, because there's a bit going on there, yeah.
Female sailor, reverse curve, friend of the show, Hattie Rogers.
Hey, beauty. Yes.
Male sailor, Streety, good on you, Sam. Sailing team, 11th hour racing team, friends of the show.
Just all Barcaradians.
The innovation technology, the AC40 flight control system.
Yeah.
I believe when you tested the boat yourself, Jordan, you said, I reckon this should win a Falling Award.
With the engineers. I spent some time with the engineers. Yeah, that's it.
The sustainability went to Crazy Lobster. I have to say, I got no idea what the hell the Crazy Lobster is.
Well, I can tell you, it's not normal.
I haven't researched that one.
No.
The falling event, best falling event, the Soul GP in Saint Tropez.
Well,
falling pathway, the Wasp. The motorboat was the Future E falling, so I'm assuming that's full electric. Commercial project.
Yep.
Artemis. The one-off boat, the Baltic, the Raven 111.
Oh, yes.
The skimmer. Yeah.
She's a bloody weapon, yeah.
She's a weapon. The production boat, the Switch.
Yeah,
and the water toy, the Hydro Flyer.
Yeah, we had no
Hydro
influence on
Flyer.
those.
Believe such a thing. What's going on?
But you missed the
never ends.
The project, which was so you had the commercial project, but there was a project there, the Sea Air Flying Chase Boat.
Sea Air Flying Chase Boat.
Persico, Mark Somerville, Persico.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reverse cursing going.
A lot of Bartocratians there, isn't there? There is, isn't there?
God.
We go okay, don't we?
We need to stick a foil on our logo, boys.
We could win.
Well, maybe that's
we
what
could win the best foiling logo.
Done with that boat, and it wouldn't have nosedived like that.
Well, that's right.
Maybe
we could win the best foiling logo.
It was an early falling trial. It was just coming off the foils, is what it was. Congratulations, Like this is great. Just great. So lots of innovation and ideas, and they're doing it in a lot of different pathways. So it's good to see. So very happy to see the result of that one. So yeah, congratulations, all the Falling Week award winners. Hey.
Yep. The other stuff we've got happening, boys. The Club Swans 50s are racing this week, or the Swans, the One Designs are racing this week. So that's coming to an end of play today at time of recording. So no big results yet, but we'll pass those on, and then
I'm sort of across them if you want, but yeah, that's
well, give us something. Yeah,
G-Spot is in first in the 36s. Ferrinan in the 50s, the Club Swan 50. So that's Ross Warburton's boat, and then Giacomo's Serena di La Pigio is the owner of G-Spot. But yeah, so it's the start of the season, and the Swan racing. Big fans. And a lot of our friends getting plenty of money and income from those racing, so that's good.
100%. And then the other one going on, boys, is the world's longest regatta. Well, what seems like. You come out of Newcastle, then everyone heads north, in the northeasterly direction to Port Stephens, of which they have the Passage Week this week. And then next weekend they have the Port Stephens Sailing Week, I think it's called.
Yep.
So plenty of activity happening on the East Coast. But we'll report in with some winners and grinners out the back of that further down the track.
We'll probably do Division 2 and Division 3.
You reckon?
Absolutely. 100%.
We're all divisions.
So, stand by, Rob. We'll give a full breakdown.
You know who's? I will tell you one result at the moment, because he'll love it, because he'd be grumpy if we don't. In Div 2 at the moment, leading the way is a boat called Young at Heart. Skipper won Simon Grosser.
Yes,
on you, Simon
Young
Grosser.
88. Well done. Nice, Simon. Well done.
Yeah, no.
See you in a few weeks in Pittwater.
Gary Holt's leading Div 1 in Let's Get It On. Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, the 40s. Boys, what's happening there? Past 40s?
Been watching it.
Who's been watching? You've been keeping a close eye on things?
Speaking of making mistakes, remember I think I said last week that
separation.
Yeah, I talked about the separation. I hadn't done any weather research or anything, but just randomly I'd probably just naturally head south. And our friends and I hope I didn't influence this, our friends on De Koppel did go south with Everali. Anyway, no, they've had a shocker. So
no good.
if I could,
the good old Kiwi, nah.
Yeah, if De Koppel are nearly 1,200 miles off the lead, and Everal 1,000 miles off the lead, but our leaders overall are just about to touch home. They've got about 360 miles to go, so they're a day or two out, and heading.
That's a big spread, isn't it? That's a big tactical error.
Yeah, she's a big one. Anyway, it was the weather system that popped up on the north side. Obviously, it shows you how.
Clearly, I've just had my first look at it.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It shows you how important weather forecasting and modelling is these days. And in all honesty, when I saw the boys going south, I thought, you know what, that looked pretty good when they did it, and I couldn't see why you would go to the north. But then this system, I didn't look at the weather at all. I just saw what was on the map, and then wow, they got plenty, and they were doing 400.
The Jordan Spencer School of Weather comes true again.
Well, they're doing 430 mile at one stage on one of the days, which is pretty phenomenal for a 40-foot boat, boys, with no foils. Like you'd be pretty happy.
That is cooking.
It's definitely cooking. So yeah, congratulations to those boys. But anyway, yeah, that's what's going on there. So that should be just finishing probably this time tomorrow. Although we haven't published this. For those listening, probably, morning.
Just now.
Morning Monday, something like that.
Cool. That's me, boys.
All righty. Well,
I've got to get to an airport and try and
hang on a second before we do.
What?
Before we leave, I've got to say I went to a little function last night that I promised to go to. The Portland and Weymouth, we call Weymouth, they call it Weymouth, but it's not Weymouth, it's Weymouth. Weymouth National Sailing Academy here in the UK for the Magenta Group, for the launch of the Magenta Foiling team, which is organised by our Barcarati in Allanson. What a cool night. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I just did, like, as I said off air, I didn't string it together as to who would be there, but it turns out I know a lot of people.
How'd you go? Did you win?
I had a win, no, it was great. But I tell you what they've got going on. It's super cool. How much we pushed the Magenta Group program along. We've since day one we've really supported it and got behind it, and we love the whole thing. So there's that big tick. The next one is based around, would you believe it, the wasps and the pathway, and trying to keep it's not a male female thing. It's trying to keep these younger kids, like they're even talking 10, 11-year-old kids that are coming through because it's that type of boat, and trying to keep them after that 18 to 30 bracket, which is where our big problem is. What do you do if you're not an Olympic sailor? What do you do if what do you do if you want to become more serious in your sailing, whether that's pro or you're able to fund a project, and how to keep them in the sport. So there's a lot going on. Obviously, last night being the launch of the Magenta Foiling team, the 69F with Alice Senior and her team. It was great. She managed to get $20 out of me, so she's done well.
Oh, there you go.
But if you do want to support them, there is a lottery she's raising money to get the team up and running. The people there are all super excited about the project, and really trying to promote, I guess, if you like, more people like Alice to use this platform to get to try. And if you're interested, you are a female and you want to give it a crack, then just reach out.
Yeah,
Vicky Lowe obviously was there running it, whom I didn't know was going to be there, and I've met her in 2008, and then all of a sudden it all just clicked. Josie Glyden was there. They're all there.
Yeah,
everyone.
All our friends. Good on them. Good to see. I love the power of the female sailor that's emerging. It's just awesome. So good on them.
Yeah, and it is. And one of the big things that came out of it was, and for instance, if there was a position come up, let's say, for example, there's a role or a job or something come up and you can't do it, don't be afraid to tip in a friend and, try and build the platform, and, don't be afraid to hold on to these positions, share it around and get more people in. So, they were pretty excited about the female side of things. So good on them.
Cool.
Bravo. Well done, BP, for flying the flag.
Thanks,
well
me.
I mean, rights.
I tell you, it wasn't easy. The train on the way down decided to have get the tracks fixed, so I had to get off the train and get on a double-decker bus in Bournemouth, get off at Dorchester, back onto the train. I had no idea where I was. It took nearly all day to do the train trip.
Good stuff.
But I made it.
Let's wrap her up.
Righto, finish her on.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Ton of fun having you hang out. Remember, send us some notes at cheers@barkarati.com and we will come back to you. But we love everything that comes through. We love that you listen to us and we thank you very much. Remember...
Oh, we got a surprise coming up, listeners.
What, you found your bags?
No. If you're getting a little bit chilly, we might have some merch popping out.
Yeah, they're looking
Love
good
it.
too. And Radix Nutrition, jump on their website if you want to get some of that fantastic food. And remember to enhance your potential through applied nutrition, go to Radix Nutrition, use Barkarati as your discount code and get a discount on us. Have a great week, everyone. Love your work.
Cool.
Right to the end.
Right.
Oh, look, we never got this far.
On, gents.
I've timed it right to the end.
I'm going flying pants on, flying shirt, flying jacket.